We are getting an entire new weapon class to Warframe. I'm not sure the last time that's happened, so I'm super excited. I'm like actually not sure last time we got a new weapon class. It could have been like last week for all I know. I literally have no clue. But I'm excited because we're getting the bayonet weapon class, which was announced in the latest dev stream about the old piece, which is releasing on December 10th. Now, we didn't get a whole lot of information about this new weapon class. Or, well, I guess we did get a lot of information because the amount of information we had before this dev stream was nothing. But after this dev stream, we know it exists. So we actually got a lot of information. But what I mean by that is that we only have one type of weapon, or one weapon in specifically, that is the bayonet weapon class. We're not getting like four different weapons of this type released with the update. As far as I can tell, we're just getting a weapon called the Vinquibus, which will be the first ever bayonet type weapon. I think calling it a bayonet type weapon is kind of dumb, because, well, any kind of weapon can have a bayonet on the end of it. But when you actually look at the weapon, it makes a lot more sense because it's like a gun sword, basically. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm super excited for it. Anyway, it is the Vinquibus. I hope I'm saying that right. They're just coming up with crazy names at this point. I don't know how to even say shit anymore. And it is Uriel's main weapon. It's the weapon coming out with Uriel. It matches his artwork. It really fits in with his design. The weapon looks great, and apparently, according to the dev team during the stream, Vinquibus is the longest weapon currently in the game of Warframe. Just an interesting factoid right there. I'm not sure if that's true. I feel like there's definitely some longer melee weapons, but maybe it's the longest gun weapon? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below. But personally, I think I have seen some longer melee weapons, and that sounds really sus. I'm talking about hammers, not that type of hammers, guys. Chill out. Anyway, this new type of weapon was actually created to fit in with the war theme that's going on in the old piece, where they seem to be using trenches. So someone on the dev team suggested, hey, let's make designs that fit trench warfare, and one of the most iconic and useful weapons during World War I, the epitome of trench warfare, was the bayonet, where people would charge from trench to trench and gain land on each other by using their bayonets to stab the shit out of each other. Bayonets were also used a lot in the American Civil War, where getting ground was extremely difficult as well and costly, so soldiers would charge and try to take advantageous positions with their bayonets because you can't just shoot them out of those positions a lot of the time. So the design and idea of the Vinquibus and the bayonet class in general is really, really cool, and I'm super excited for it to come out because they have like this trench warfare theme. Then it looks like Uriel's devil weapon, so it's like devil design meets trench warfare design to create this weird match made in hell, which would make sense because the trenches were probably pretty terrible. I would not want to spend a week in there and get some trench foot, have some mushrooms growing out of my toes. That would be pretty disgusting, gang. Anyway, from this point on, I'll mostly just be talking about the Vinquibus itself and not the bayonet class as a whole, because like I said, we really don't know too much about this new class of weapon. It's almost all, like everything we know about the bayonet class comes from what we know about the Vinquibus, because it's the only gun we've seen from this new weapon type so far. So from here on out, I'm going to mostly be talking about the Vinquibus. Just want to make that clear for you beautiful and sexy gamers out there. Like and subscribe. I just called you sexy. That's a compliment. Least you can do is like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Right? That's the least you can do. I just complimented you, beautiful, sexy, amazing viewer. That's 3 compliments. Now I have to go like 3 videos? You got like 3 separate videos because of that? I don't make the rules. That's just how it works. Anyway, the Vinquibus is a semi-automatic weapon that has 8 bullets per magazine, and that's assuming the footage we saw of it on the dev stream didn't have any larger magazine mods on it. And when I saw their mod page, I don't think I saw any, so it looks like it has 8 bullets, which is really, really cool. And then it's a semi-automatic weapon, but obviously the big deal it comes with is that it also functions as a melee weapon. And yes, that does mean that all weapons of this type will take up both your primary weapon slot and your melee weapon slot. It will take up both. And they both have separate modding pages or whatever. So that means you mod your the Vinquibus in your primary like you would a normal primary, and you mod your Vinquibus in your melee like you would a normal melee. They don't share mod capacity. That would be really terrible if they did. They don't, so don't worry about that. I'm also not sure if they level separately or not. I hope that the gun part and the melee part do level separately, just so I can get double the mastery rank. But, you know, they didn't say anything about that, so I'm not sure. Anyway, using the melee for the weapon is pretty cool. I like how you melee with it. However, the melee attacks do not look like how you would attack with a bayonet. There are some stabs incorporated into the attack pattern, but from what I saw, it's mostly just slashing like other Warframe weapons. Then you can like jump up and do a ground pound with the weapon and stuff like that. But not a whole lot of poking and stabbing. There's a little bit, but bayonets were basically only stabby weapons. I guess some of them had like daggers on the end, so you could slash a little bit, but not really. They're stabbies, guys. But I understand that would be really annoying to use in this game, so I actually appreciate that they didn't make them function as a typical bayonet and instead make it just, you know, slashy and stabby, which I do appreciate, gang. Thank you. Shout out DE for that, gang. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. But another interesting thing about the Vinquibus is that it actually gives you a reason that you'd want to use it as your primary in melee instead of having two separate weapons, and that's because the primary mode of the Vinquibus and the melee mode of the Vinquibus have unique synergy, where headshots with the Vinquibus will increase your melee damage, and melee kills will increase your ammo efficiency with the rifle part of the weapon. Which, you know, like I said, gives it a really cool synergy, and it's a really cool feature, and I'm interested to see if the rest of the bayonet class of weapons have this similar synergy thing going on, and if they all have this same synergy as to where it increases your melee damage with headshots and increases your ammo efficiency with melee kills, or if each individual weapon will have its own unique energy between its ranged and melee functions. And by the way, I'm saying Vinquibus a lot, so I'm kind of choking over that word a little bit. Pause. Anyway, the new stance mod that we get with the Vinquibus is called Harrowing Spire, which we got to see while they checked out the mod page pretty quickly. That's all I know about this new mod. I can't tell you if it's good or not, or if the stance is fire, because like I said, we just saw it for a second. I guess we saw them use it, and he had a lot of slash attacks, so that's cool. But I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry, we didn't get a ton of information, like I said. Anyway. They also didn't show us the base stats of the Vinquibus without any mods on it, but it does appear to be very good for crit builds based on how they modded it. And you could look at the mods they had equipped on this weapon and like reverse math it to find out the exact stats of the Vinquibus, but I'm not doing that. I'm not. That's going to take a lot of time, waste a lot of time, and that's just not something I'm interested in doing because I don't have a life. But if I did have a life, I wouldn't want to waste it doing math. So that's why I'm not doing that. But with their mods, they got the crit chance for the Vinquibus up to 80%, and the crit damage having a 6.7 multiplier, which is pretty cracked. I'm not going to lie. 6.7 times increase in damage goes pretty crazy. I do like that. Also, based on the mod version of the weapon we see, it appears to do slash and puncture damage, with obviously puncture damage being its primary attribute, because, you know, it's a bayonet, guys, and it's supposed to be stabby. Even if it isn't, it's supposed to be stabby. It's a bayonet. So that's really cool, and I do like that. Anyway, I'm not sure how hard it is going to be to craft, which is something I was thinking about, because when we have something like the Equinox, which basically is a 2 frames within 1 frame, we had to get a lot of extra parts to actually make the Equinox Warframe. So since we're getting a melee weapon and a primary weapon at once with this new Vinquibus and bayonet classes of weapons, I'm imagining we're going to need to get more parts to craft it, making crafting it a little bit harder and a little bit more grindier, which, you know, isn't great. I don't like that, but it does make complete sense, and I would understand why they would do that, and that's what I'm personally expecting. But like I said, we don't know how we're going to craft it just yet. That's just my thought process on it at the moment. But yeah, I'm really excited for this new weapon class, and I think this is really going to be something cool and unique to Warframe. I think it would be really cool if they added some more bayonets here soon, bayonet type weapons. Like there's an Orcan version that maybe is golden and silver, kind of like a prime looking weapon that has a bayonet on the end of it. Maybe even make like a new like prime versions of old weapons, except this time they have bayonets on them. Or even like a Grineer type looking weapon with a bayonet on it, because I think that would be really cool, because these are all the factions that are fighting in this trench warfare on this moon in Tau. We have the Grineer fighting, or not the Grineer Empire, but the Grineer clones fighting for the Rebellion. We have Dax fighting, we have the Orcan fighting, we have the Synthients fighting, we have the Tenno fighting. So I think it would be really cool if each one of those groups of people got their own unique bayonet type class weapon, and it would make sense, because if we're really doing trench warfare, everyone's going to have bayonets, right? Like every single side would. It doesn't make sense for this one group of people to have bayonets. So I think that'd be really cool and something they should incorporate and quickly expand and add more weapons into the bayonet class. Since it is a brand new class, it should get some love real quick at the beginning here to really get it off the ground. Because I would hate for them to make a whole new weapon class and just the Vinquibus be the only weapon of that class for like the next 3 months. But yeah, this is genuinely something I'm really excited for. I'm really excited to use this new Vinquibus weapon, and I'm excited to really take this class in the future. I think it's going to be really cool, especially if each new weapon has its own unique synergy. That would be fucking awesome. And you would have to like pick like what synergy works best for this mission. I don't know. I think it would be really, really, really sick, and I would absolutely love it. Anyway, that's pretty much all we know about this new bayonet class, and all we know about the Vinquibus in general. I'm sorry I was all over the place with this video. I just have a bunch of notes written down from the dev stream. You know, I was going through my different notes trying to make this video. So I hope I wasn't too crazy and off too many perks while making this video. That's a joke, guys. I'm not on any perks. I'm just on Percocet. Actually, I think perks make you calmer, don't they? They don't make you crazier. I'm not sure. Down in the comments below, let me know how perks work. Hopefully I don't get demonetized for asking that. Holy shit. Actually, don't comment that, guys. Anyway, that's really all I have for this one. Humongous shout out to my members, Jay and Simon King 5000. You guys are the greatest, the most amazing, the awesomest, the handsomest, and the coolest guys that I know personally. Thank you for supporting this channel for so long now. It's been like a year at this point, maybe more than that, and that's just incredible. It means so much to me, so thank you guys. And shout out to everyone who's made it this far into the video. I really do appreciate it, and I'm going to keep grinding out this content, talk about the new update, talk about lore here in a little bit. Now, this isn't my normal upload necessarily, but I'm just like talking about the updates right now. But thank you all so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. Like and subscribe if you enjoy these videos. Check out my other videos on the update. I've released videos on Friday and Saturday. Just go to the homepage on my channel. You can see them right now. But stay blessed, everybody. Stay happy. And most importantly, stay safe. Thank you.